So space out your licks. How to put some distance in between the notes, right? When we practice scales and we practice sequences and licks, and then very often we have a tendency, really often, to go from one scale note to another, just right next to it, right? That's what we mostly do. And that can become such an ingrained habit that we really long for some intervals in there. So how do we do that? Well, there are several ways, but one of my favorites is a sequence that I didn't come up with this, obviously, because it's so simple. It's math, right? But I thought I came up with it when I discovered it. But it's just a matter of arranging the notes in a specific way. And this is where you can, with a huge advantage, play a minor seventh arpeggio, for instance, or a diminished arpeggio within the blues scale or the minor pentatonic. But let's do some diminished arpeggio, because that is really a wacky thing. So we're going to go close up, and you can check out the charts here. We're in the key of C minor. What we're going to do, I'm just going to play it first here. Right? So we get these, right? And that's the sequence I'm going to show you. But I'm going to use what we call a 2-1-2 shape, or what I call, because it's got two notes on the first. It's got two notes on the first string, and then it's got one note on the next. But right. So sorry for the stereotype. No offense meant. But we're in the key of C here, and we got the first position minor pentatonic or blues scale shape in the 8th fret. So I got the 8th and the 11th there on the low E string. Then I got the 8, 9, and 10 on the A string. And then the 8 and the 10th on the D string, as you probably know. And then the 8, 10, and 11 on the G. And then we got the, let's see if I can turn around it. The 8th and 11th on the B string, and then the same on the high E string. Right? And then I want to superimpose my little diminished arpeggio on top of that. If we start at the top, it's the easiest, because I got the diminished notes are the same as the pentatonic notes, so I got the 8th and the 11th on the high E string. Then I got the 10th fret, which is not in the pentatonic scale or the blues scale, but a really cool note. Right, in the 10th fret on the B string, and then the next arpeggio note is in the 11th fret on the G string, and then the 8th fret on the G string, and that 11th fret is the blue note of the blues scale. Right, and then I continue with the 10th fret on the D string, then the 12th and the 9th fret on the A string. And then I can go all the way back or down to my two first notes of the minor pentatonic, which is also in the arpeggio, and go down to the 8th and the 11th on the low E string. Right? Or I can move back to my 8th fret on the A string, so I go. Right, so just move into the blues scale on the minor pentatonic again there in the 8th fret, and then down there. Okay. So, but the cool thing is that I'm gonna play a sequence that goes like this. Right? It creates some really cool distances in between the notes. So, I'm just gonna start it off right here. So I go, you pick the note in the 8th fret on the high E string and hammer on to the 11th. Then you pick the note in the 10th fret on the B string, and then with a downstroke, and then with an upstroke in the 8th fret on the high E string. So now I have this. Then I pick the note in the 11th fret on the G string with a downstroke, and then the 10th fret with an upstroke. And then I hit the 8th fret on the G string and hammer on to the 12th fret on the G string as well. So now slowly, these parts here. Then I continue to the 10th fret on the G string, hit that with a downstroke, go to the 8th fret on the G string with an upstroke, and then down all the way down to the 12th fret on the A string with a downstroke, and then the 10th fret D string with an upstroke. So now I have this, and then I hit the 9th fret on the A string and hammer on to 12. So basically I have this part, right? And then the second part is the same, only slightly different. And then I can hit the 9th fret and the 12th fret on the A string. I'll play that for you slowly. You can do whatever you want. Go back into the blues scale. But we can also go in the other direction. Right? So I can go 12, pick the note in the 12th fret and pull off down to the 9th. Then I hit the 10th fret with an upstroke and go back on the D string and go back to the A string in the 12th fret. Then I hit the 8th fret on the G string and go right back with an upstroke and go right back to the 10th fret on the D string. Then I hit the 11th fret on the G string and pull off down to the 8th fret. So it sounds like this. Continue, 10th fret, upstroke, downstroke in the 11th fret on the G string, so 10th fret B string, 11th fret G string, and then all the way up to the 8th fret on the high E string, and then back to the 10th fret with the downstroke again, alright? And then I can go 11 and pull off down to the 8th fret on the E string, so again. So a really effective sequence that once you start integrating it and you play some of your old stuff and then you go into that sequence, first of all you practice the sequence up and down, you know, thousands of times, right? Because you got hammers and pull-ups and you got that string skipping, outside picking action going on. So don't give up, but don't expect to play it at lightning-like speed because you got all these things going on, right? But practice it. It's a melodic tool more than anything else. And then you start building it in to all the other things you usually do. Integrate it into the known, take the new, practice it, and then integrate it into the known. Make sure you connect that bridge and make that bridge between the old and the new in order for you to actually use it when you play. Keep doing that over and over and over again. You might have a jam track in the background and then start improvising and going back and forth and see, can I play 4 notes for that sequence, and then going back into the blues scale. And of course we got all the other the rest of the area of the fretboard that you can work with, right? All the other patterns. So I hope to see you in the next video here popping up on the screen.